I was in the YouTube box and met a lot of absolutely lovely people, such accomplished people who are so like in good humor and down to earth. The one guy who owns Tinder and Match.com, and another guy who runs Pinterest. Super sweet guys, like who absolutely no airs about them. You would never have known that they run these very big, powerful companies. Just very cool people. Really enjoyed our time with these guys. Then I got up. I told you about Lainey Wilson, star, the nicest. Had a deep conversation with her about God and religion and where she's at and where I'm at. And really, really loved it. She sent me some great recommendations, including a Sean Ryan podcast she really loved. We both are big fans of Sean Ryan. So then I was trying to use the ladies' room, and something very funny happened. I went out, I told you where I was in relation to Taylor Swift. Well, I walk out the box, the suite, and there's, the dress, the lady in a dress that signifies this is the women's room. So I go, and there's a woman standing there. And so I, of course, just assume there's a line. And I'm like, oh, are you in line? And she's like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. So I go to get past her. And she's like, oh, no, I think someone's in there. And I'm like, one person? I'm like, oh, she's like, there was something unclear about what she said. So I tried to go past her, and then I pressed down the doorknob, and it started to open. And I heard like, oh, and then she was like, oh, no. And then I realized Taylor Swift was clearly in there, and this was like a privacy guard for her. So I think I almost walked in on Taylor Swift in the bathroom, and I'm really glad that did not happen. Really, really glad. So then I realized it was just one of those one-stall bathrooms, and I found the actual women's room, which is where I went. It was fine. But on my way to try to find the women's room, I actually ran into Donald Trump Jr. And he's such a sweetheart. I have to say, he's really one of my favorite people. I have never seen him where he is anything other than totally magnanimous, kind, warm. What do you need? What do you need to know? How can I be of help to you? Just like the most genuine, likable guy. Truly, I'm a huge fan of his. And he was with his new girlfriend who I met, who is stunning. She's like super tall, and you're taken aback by the beauty coming at you down the hall. She was super gracious, very nice person. And they're going the other way. I'm going this way. And he said, oh, have you seen my dad? I was like, no, I haven't seen him. And he's like, do you want to say hi? And of course I want to say hi to the president. It was out of his way. He was leaving the suite. They were walking like halfway down the hall by the time he offers me this. He sees me. He turns back around to take me back into the suite. That's very kind. He's like with an entourage. Really appreciated it. Go in there. It's like a who's who of, Republican politics in there. Got to meet Karoline Leavitt. That was a highlight. His press secretary, 27-year-old star. And of course, this is a picture of yours truly with the president, with Don Jr., and with Steve Scalise, total patriot. Of course, took a bullet from a lunatic who was outraged over things he'd heard on Rachel Maddow's show, but really was just a lunatic, and has gone on to just do wonders in the Republican Party. Very loyal to the president, close ally. So I enjoyed meeting with Karoline. She's crushing it. Do you know she has a baby? She has a baby, a 1-year-old, who is a little boy, and she is, of course, having all the struggles of new motherhood while she's on the road constantly with President Trump, but she's finding a balance. What she's doing is a service to her country. She's, I think, truly just a patriot. She loves Trump. She loves the country. And I think she's correct that she can find a balance, even though she's got a baby right now, between serving her country and the president and taking care of her little boy. She's got a very supportive husband, too. So say a prayer for Karoline. That's a big challenge, and I think she's doing a wonderful job. Got to spend some time with Katie Britt, who was there with her son, her teenage son, who's a 14-year-old freshman in high school. What a doll. I told him how cool his mom is. She's there taking her son to the Super Bowl. Hello. Anyway. Saw Eric Schmidt, former Attorney General of Missouri, who now is the senator from the state. He's been doing great work on so many issues that are near and dear to all of our hearts. The whole thing was just such a uplifting tour, right? Like you walk through and you see this person to whom you're grateful and that person to whom you're grateful. The president was next to his daughter, Ivanka, who has been far less in the public eye this time around, but is a total class act. She's just, she and Jared, I think, decided to recede from political life because they just got completely battered and bruised. First, they all did. I mean, Don Jr. always says he's the most subpoenaed person in U.S. history. Eric Trump, too, same. Laura Trump is more outspoken, and she enjoys that. But not everybody wants the downside of what comes with putting yourself out there when it comes to politics. And I think Jared and Ivanka, I think they're there for the president, but maybe just don't want that to be the pointy part of the spear, like their dad. As she was next to the president, looked luminous, totally warm, and all the family. I think their natural closeness with one another leads to like an inner joy. I do. I mean, they're extremely close. They're extremely loyal to one another. They know they have that sort of wolf pack. And I think if you build that same dynamic in your own family, you'll have the same closeness with your kids. You'll have the same camaraderie, even when they're all adults and they're already producing the next generation. So anyway, had a great chat with the president. After I left him, he banned the penny. Or maybe it was right before. I don't know. He banned the penny last night because apparently it costs more than 2 cents to make 1 cent. And Trump said, this makes no sense. So we're not making pennies anymore. I've got to say, thumbs up. It was the least of what he did over the weekend, and we'll talk about all of that in more detail tomorrow. But I think the overall sentiment I got from Team Trump was that they are thrilled that the fight the left is choosing to pick is over the firing of bureaucrats, the jobs of bureaucrats. Boo-hoo! A bureaucrat got fired. A bureaucrat has lost their lifetime employment on the public dime. They accurately deduce that is not going to tug on anybody's heartstrings. No one's. And, Trump said to Brett Baier, I ran on this. I told people I was going to do this. And, Brett brought up with him, well, some people say, whatever, Elon's in there with his team of, tech bros, and they're looking at things they shouldn't be looking at. And, is he looking up his competitors' private data? Like, what's he doing? It's like, what reason do you have to distrust him, right? And here was Trump defending Elon for what it's worth.
I don't know if it's kickbacks or what's going on, but the people, look, I ran on this, and the people want me to find it. And I've had a great help with Elon Musk, who's been terrific.
Bottom line, you say you trust him.
Trust Elon? Oh, he's not gaining anything. In fact, I wonder how he can devote the time to it. He's so into it. But I told him do that. Then I'm going to tell him very soon, like maybe in 24 hours, to go check the Department of Education. He's going to find the same thing. Then I'm going to go to the military. Let's check the military. We're going to find billions, hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud and abuse. And, the people elected me on that.
100% right. And that's been one of the things all along. We are so lucky we have Elon Musk willing to work for us, willing to bring this tech team in there to kick the tires of these agencies and see who's wasting our money with a bunch of fraudulent kickback schemes to their left-wing buddies. And the answer is a lot. A lot of people are. There have been some activist judges trying to slow it down or stop it. I am very confident that the executive branch will see its powers upheld once these cases go up in appeal. There's one Trump-appointed judge who slowed some of the layoffs that he's going to be doing, the federal workers. That's going to get resolved. He just said, we're going to have a hearing on it. I don't think that's a real win for the Trump challengers. He's just saying, let's slow it down until we can actually have a hearing and I can hear the issues briefed. Their argument is you can't lay them off with 8 months of pay promise because they're only guaranteed pay through March. And so no one has the power to authorize them pay for the next 8 months. So we'll work that out. These people are going to go. They're taking the voluntary buyout and some are getting fired. Anyway, I really have faith that Trump does have the executive powers that he's saying he does, and that in 9 out of 10 of these cases, he'll win. I mean, it could be 10 out of 10, but I actually took a hard look at most of them and thought his executive power seems very much intact. These are just people who can't deal with reality. We continue to face uncertainty when it comes to the economy, with a perfect storm brewing as Social Security and Medicare hit a breaking point as the largest generation is hitting retirement. A smaller workforce means a smaller tax base. You pair that with our growing national debt and our rising cost of living, and we could have a very big problem on our hands. So what are you doing now to protect your family for the future? Are you diversifying? Gold can be very useful to you in this. It can be a safe haven in hard economic times. And Birch Gold has a super great reputation, and they will make it very easy to diversify a portion of your savings, if you so choose, into physical gold. Birch Gold will help you transition an existing IRA or 401k in whole or in part into an IRA in gold, and it will not cost you 1 cent out of pocket. Protect your future today. Text MK to 989898 and get your free info kit on gold and a copy of the ultimate guide for gold in the Trump era with a foreword by Donald Trump Jr. There's no obligation, just information. Birch Gold has earned the trust of countless Americans looking to safeguard their savings. You just text my initials, MK, to the number 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.